Hello and welcome to the Anomaly Presents podcast, the podcast about genre movies, right now taking place in the middle of a genre film festival. That's right, it's the Anomaly Film Festival happening in Rochester, New York, and in your living room, possibly around the world. My name is Matt Knotts, Blockbuster Rewards Gold member since the year 2000. The reason I bring that up is that we're here to talk about the film, The Last Blockbuster. Hopefully you've watched it already in the festival. I am happy to say that we're going to have a little conversation about it. We've got the filmmakers with us. We've got Taylor Morden and Zeke Kamm, along with our cast of podcastronauts. We've got Adam Lubito, Aaron Murphy, and Megan Murphy. Taylor, Zeke, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So glad you're here. So I love the movie. So what was the genesis of The Last Blockbuster? What made you guys want to make a movie about the last blockbuster on Earth?
This was Taylor's idea, so he should answer this one.
Yeah. So picture this. The year is 2017, right? And you're driving around a small town in Oregon and you see a Blockbuster video sign. You're going to assume it's just a sign, right? That's what I did. I thought, just like all the other signs I had seen, they just couldn't afford to take it down. And the store has been gone since 2014, like all the rest of the stores. And I drove by that sign, I don't know, 3 or 4 times before it dawned on me to just stop and see if it was an actual store. And I did, and it was. And when you walk through those doors, for me, it had probably been 4 years since I had been in a Blockbuster. Not that long, because I was a pretty diehard Blockbuster shopper, renter. But you walk in those doors, and it's like stepping back in time. It feels the same. It smells the same. It sounds the same, and they had all the newest releases. So in 2017, it was like, you know, whatever the new Marvel movie was or the new Star Wars, and it was crazy to me. My brain kind of exploded. So I asked the people working there if we could start bringing cameras in and documenting it, and that's kind of how it started. It went from there, and at that time, there were still a dozen Blockbusters left in the world, which blew my mind. I thought I had found the only one.
That had to be. I get the feeling in the movie when you first go into the Blockbuster. I have that same kind of, you know, you must have felt like you were almost in limbo or heaven. Like when you walk in, it's just, how did this happen? It almost feels like it falls out of the timeline, and it's the exact same feel in the film. Like how does this exist?
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. So you said you were a big Blockbuster guy.
He spent half his life trying to get a job there.
I did. I applied several times. I never even got an interview. They would have those computer kiosks where you could apply for a job.
Yep.
And I did it, you know, monthly at the store by my house. I would go and apply for a job. I never got an interview, but I was in there every day, you know, renting movies. I had the when they had the unlimited pass you could get, where, you know, you'd go rent a movie, and when you bring that one back, you get another one, you know, unlimited movies for a month, one at a time. And at the time, I lived across the street from Blockbuster, so I would rent 70 movies a month or something, you know, just like, oh, I finished that one, I'll just walk across the street and get another one. And maybe they didn't want me to work there because I would have told people about that scam.
I am so happy there's someone else that took advantage of that, because that was me too. You would literally just start a genre and go A to Z and just see what was there. It's such an education, and I feel like
I would stop the movies. Like if 10 minutes in it wasn't good, I would stop it and take it back to Blockbuster, just like we do now with Netflix. Just like, this movie is not good, I would like another, please.
I love that you use Blockbuster as proto Netflix. I think that's amazing. It's the Netflix cardio program we all really needed.
I also admire your ability to stop a movie when you decide it's bad. I, for some reason, can't do that. I'm like, once I've started it, I'm committed. I'm finishing this. So I also admire that.
Sunk cost fallacy.
So go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
No, I was just going to ask, one thing I love about the movie is how well we get to know the manager of The Last Blockbuster, Sandy. Was that always a part of it? You knew you wanted to kind of follow her? Or did that just, as you got to know her, you were like, oh yeah, she's going to be a big part of this movie?
Yeah, I mean, to meet her is to love her. She is she is a joyful, wonderful human being, and just, she is exactly how she comes across in the movie. She is so kind and so, like, I don't know. I've got a great mom. I love my mom, but I kind of wish Sandy was my mom.
I want to date Sandy.
Yeah. When we started, we didn't know she was going to be so much of a character. She earned that.
Well, it didn't take long because so Taylor was finishing up his ska movie, so he came over to my house. We were supposed to. I was taking my first day off in like 3 years. I just was making films nonstop, client films, and I was like, I'm taking this weekend off. First weekend off I've had in 3 years. You want to come over and watch this? This is my favorite foreign film, and he comes over, and right before I started, he goes, hey, I want to pitch this idea to you. And I was like, okay, sure. Not going to happen, but whatever. And he says, this is going to be the last blockbuster. I think there were still 3 when I came on, 3 or 4.
3 or 4, yeah.
Still there. And he said, I think this one might be the last one. And I was like, there goes my weekend out. And we immediately started working on it. And actually, the first thing I said was, it's still open? I've tried 3 times and just assumed they'd never rented out the space, so they left the sign up. But it was open, and so I went in. He's like, "You got to meet Sandy." And as soon as I met Sandy, I was like, "Oh, this is the thread of the story. She's the soul of the movie. She's the soul of the store. It's got to be her."
So sorry about that. I was still.
We all felt it right here. Yeah.
We're all lost in our fond thoughts of Sandy.
Yeah.
She's our video mom.
Yeah.
Literally, I was reflecting on the fact that when I grow up, I would love to be her in some way, shape, or form.
Aww.
Knitting hats and selling them too. Like that was genius.
Yeah.
Taylor and I so many times have said, Sandy, you can't sell those hats that cheap. Because she's like, I got to make hats this weekend. I got to make some people won't stop ordering the hats. I'm like, raise the price.
Yeah. I saw her, I think it was yesterday I saw her, and she's 100 hats behind. And she hasn't figured out to get someone else to make the hats or charge more. She's just going to keep making those hats. And this movie is going to come out, and they're going to get, 10,000 orders for hats. You have to figure something out.
I was like, say it's only a couple weeks away from full release, right? Oh my gosh.
So put our order in now.
Poor Sandy's
here. Before summertime, yeah.
My God.
It's gonna be your fault that she's buried in hats for the next 10 years.
At least we'll know she'll be warm through winter. I mean, that's a positive.
Yeah.
But so are you guys from Bend or?
Not from, but we live here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I grew up not far from Bend, in an even smaller town that recently burned down.
Oh gosh. That's
a lot of towns recently burned down or are burning, so not special.
Yeah, I moved up here about 11 years ago or something from Los Angeles to kind of escape the movie industry. And who would have guessed this is where I would move and then end up making what'll probably end up being one of the most popular things that I do in my life.
It's not a bad thing to hang your hat on, though. It's pretty great.
Hey, I'm super proud of it. I'm really, really proud of this movie. It became everything that I wanted it to be.
I think
it gives you warm feelings, like super warm feelings.
Oh, thank you.
I really dug it a lot, and I really enjoyed the thread it had going through it. It was very not just about like the blockbuster mom sense, but just like the whole family sense. Like you come in being like, oh, she's a very important like thread through this, but then to see like literally the family's involved and like everybody, and then like it's not just that like a family, like a working family, but a blood family is involved and keeping the store alive. So literally, it's a blood oath, is what I'm saying. It's a blood oath.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every time every time Sandy would introduce us to a new ex-employee, she'd be like, "This is my daughter Susie," or blah blah blah. And it took a while before, a few months, maybe 6 months in, she said another person, and I said, "Sandy, how many kids do you have?" She's like, "No, this one's not actually my kid."
Right.
That's how she describes them.
Yep.
Love it.
I think it's great because for our generation, it's memories, but I also have like it's educational for like the next generation. Like people who don't know like rotary phones, it'll be the same thing. Like, okay, listen, we used to leave the house and we had to enter another building, and it was filled with all this physical media. Physical media was a thing that you could hold in your hand. And explain like be kind, rewind. Like that's not just like a metaphor. That was a thing you actually had to do.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of love this idea of it as a historical document, as well as like, hey, no, this is kind of how we used to roll, kids.
Yeah.
One of the first shots in the film is a kid looking at like pulling a DVD off the shelf, and it's actually my son, who I think he was 9 at the time. When we filmed that, and it was his first time in the store. And he picks up a DVD and he turned it over. I'm not sure why he turned it over, but he turned it over. And this part's not shown in the film. You just see him picking it up. But what actually happened after that, he turned it over, he looks at it, and he goes, "There's stuff on the back."
Yeah.
Dimensionality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was usually where all the good stuff was too. If I think about
That's
it,
true.
Right.
That's how I picked what went home with me.
We had Jamie Kennedy is in the movie, and this story is not in the movie either, but he was talking about, I asked him what it was like going to Blockbuster and seeing yourself on movies on the shelves. And he said, I wasn't on the front cover of, I think it was Scream, but I was on the back. So I would go into Blockbusters and go to all the shelves where they would have all the copies of Scream and flip them all over. So my face would be showing. And I thought that was pretty funny.
The hustle.
The hustle.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember the smell. Like when you walk in, like, and other video rental places you would go into, everyone would have a specific smell, but Blockbuster would have this very specific, like, plastic cover smell on top of like candy and popcorn. And to think that like people don't get that experience anymore, to walk in and not only pick the movie they want to, see what the store employees pick for you to have, but then also like see that there's 15 copies of one, and be like, wait, the copies aren't here. Like you're flipping it, trying to get to the video behind it, and then all of them are empty, was like horrific for me as a child. And then when my mom said I couldn't get candy, I would tear up and like Meg's my sister, by the way. She can like vouch for all that I'm saying, but I love the smell of it.
Rough visits to Blockbuster.
Yeah, now the only smell is like, if your memory of Amazon Prime is that it smells like feet, it just means you have dirty feet.
That's right. That's on you.
Oh man, so many movies this year are gonna have like such memories attached to them. Like when you saw that movie, we were all quarantined and it was so sad. But the movies like we grew up loving, they have that memory of going to a place and taking it from a shelf and taking it home and rewinding it, and maybe you got candy or something. And that's like, I feel like we as a generation are more connected to movies that way than people now who just like 2 minutes in, oh, it's not great, I'm going to watch The Office again for the 40th time.
Yeah, that was one. What was that?
You had to go on a journey to get a movie. Like you had to really want it.
That was one of the things that we came across in, I think, every interview, maybe at least 90%, maybe all of the interviews, when we were talking to people and they were reminiscing about when they were kids going to Blockbuster. It was always more about who they went with and the experience of it. Sometimes they didn't even remember the movie. So we would say, like, we had a list of questions that we asked everybody. And then we also just asked questions that occurred to us at the time. And one of them was just, what's your favorite movie? And almost always people would, when they started to describe it, they would describe who they went to Blockbuster with to rent that movie. Their grandma, their girlfriend in high school who turned out to be crazy or whatever. Just, it was really about the experience.
Yeah.
I think,
and a lot of people, the common story was, I would rent that movie so much that eventually my parents, we had to buy it. But like that was a thing too back then, is you would rent the same movie. At least I would. Like I rented Raiders of the Lost Ark every month for probably a year. Had no idea you could just buy a movie and then not have to rent it anymore.
I definitely think one of the things about, missing video stores is that experience of walking the aisles and browsing was usually my favorite part of the night. Because I think about, whoever I was with talking about like trying to pick something, and you end up just talking about the movies you're seeing and pointing out covers and things. And I'm sure my partner Matt would get so frustrated with me because that literally was my favorite part. So I had spent way too long just walking up and down the aisles and be like, oh, we should go around again one more time before I settle on a single title to bring home. And he'd be like, all right, let's wrap this up. But there's just I think it was that experience of just talking with someone and who you were with and being in that physical space. It's not the same sitting on your couch with Netflix. I have much less patience, just scrolling through titles than I do just when I wandered the aisles and was able to pick stuff up.
And not to diminish what you're saying at all. If anything, to reaffirm it, every person told us that exact same thing. Every single person that we talked to, and it was beautiful because that was our experience as well. And we never thought about, at least I never thought about it being a universal experience. But I think it was at least for people who were avid movie fans. Maybe not people who did it once every few months or something, but we didn't meet anybody like that. Everyone we met, that's their story. We should have had the editor cut together just every single person saying, I would just walk the aisle for an hour, and then the next person, I would just walk the aisle for 3 or 4 hours. Some people were like, I'd go every Friday night and spend 7 hours walking the aisles. I think it might have been Sandy or someone from Blockbuster said, people think they would be here for 3 or 4 hours, but they're only here for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
There's that certain casino quality. I will go back to my statement of limbo. When you walk into a Blockbuster, everything in the universe stops while you're there, and you just kind of get to bask in your enjoyment of film and talk to your friends about what goofy movie are we going to rent tonight, or there's always that one guy that seems like he's maybe been there for 2 hours longer than everybody else, and he'll just kind of sidle up next to you. Hey, what you looking at there? Maybe you should try that one. That looks kind of cool. You into French movies? And that or maybe that was just the one near my house. I swear it wasn't me. I promise you that.
No, I think that's all of them.
Yeah, in our town at Blockbuster, that guy's name is Jared, and he's in the movie. And he will. I see him in there a lot because he's a regular. But he will just sidle up next to you and be like, "Oh no, Hurricane Heist is no good, man. You don't want to watch Hurricane Heist. What you want to watch is like Annabelle 3 or something."
See, I kind of love those guys. I appreciate their service.
I ended up doing a 22 or 24 episodes of podcast episodes with Jared. That's how much I fell in love with this guy.
Right?
We recorded them in Blockbuster every Tuesday, and we would see the same people coming in. And these were people that came in. Some of them came in once a week, but at that same time every week. Some of them were, a lot of them, everybody thinks, oh, it's all just old people. But a lot of them were young people coming every week, sometimes 2-3 times a week. They would come, there they were again. And because I recorded so many episodes in the store, I would recognize them. And after the 3rd or 4th time, I'd be like, come here. What are you doing? That's the same reason we loved it is the same reason they're there.
Mm-hmm.
What I loved about my local Blockbuster was, as a young queer, still discovering, coming into my identity, they had during Pride, an LGBTQ section. And one of my favorite films is Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. As a 12-year-old, that was my favorite film.
Nice.
Trying to explain that to other 12-year-olds didn't go so well. But I would go to my Blockbuster, and that's how I discovered The Birdcage, with Megan. Give me the actors' names. They're leaving my brain. Oh, you were muted or something. But
That would be Nathan Lane and Robin Williams.
thank you. And so that's how I discovered that, because it was with the other movie. So I got to go there and be like, here's other films. If you like 2 Wong Fu Thanks Everything Julie Newmar, here's some other films to help you kind of like be in that same realm of other LGBTQ community movies. And that's huge for a young person discovering themselves. So I love that. I didn't know if that was other blockbusters, but at least the one, you know, in my city near me, that's what I was able to do. So I thought that was pretty dope.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times would you rent something because you saw some stranger looking at it? And you're like, I wasn't even going to look at that. But someone picked it up and they're like, no. And then I'm like, oh, well, what is that?
Yeah.
I feel like that's how I saw like half of all the Full Moon Pictures movies. That's pretty much how I came onto those. Yeah. Somebody picked up, you know, Puppet Master, or exactly. I'd be like, oh, what is? Oh, yeah, I guess I'll get that.
There's 4 of them. One of them must be good.
Yeah, more is always better. I mean,
one of them must be good.
Yeah. Little did I know they made them every 20 minutes, but yeah. So and here we sit. So it got us there. So we're a genre film festival. So Taylor, Zeke, what are you genre film guys, or are you? What's your poison when you go into Blockbuster? What are you looking for,
Taylor?
Well, I was just in Blockbuster, but I'm one of those people. I will do the new release wall walk first every time, even if a new movie hasn't come out since the last time I was there. And I like horror movies, but I'm kind of a wuss. So I'll like walk through the horror aisle quickly, and if nothing catches my eye, I'm like, phew, okay, I made it. I can go look at something else. I'm a big like sci-fi and comedy fan, so like the Back to the Futures and anything time travel related. So I'll look for those. Like if there would, some of the like independent video stores would have a time travel section, and I would just clean them out. But Blockbuster doesn't specialize like that. But yeah, action stuff, weird stuff, anything. I will nowadays, because Blockbuster does have stuff that never hits streaming. It's very interesting. There's one Blockbuster, and they'll stock these movies that no one's ever heard of, that they aren't on Amazon Prime, they aren't on Netflix, and it is this weird, obscure movie with, some actor, and somebody's still like an old school filmmaker is still going with that. Well, if we can put a famous face on the cover, it'll sell at the rental stores. And they make these movies, and they'll come out and they'll be like this weird John Travolta movie that no one's ever heard of, or this, one of 30 Nicolas Cage movies in a year. And I tend to be drawn to those. I'm like, this is probably worth watching because no one is going to see it.
I think that ties into your thrift shop obsession. You're like, I hope there's a jewel in here. Yeah. We go through all those thrift shop movies up on the shelf, hoping that one is magic.
Right.
That's kind of the ultimate magic of all video stores, though, right? It's that same kind of like, I feel like record collectors and video store people are kind of cut from that same cloth, right? You're always looking for that one nugget that, maybe got overlooked or whatever, and that's part of the magic of it. And then you end up being Jared standing next to somebody going, hey, I caught this last week. You need to check it out, because I think I'm the only one who's ever rented it.
It goes to my theory that every 10th movie is an Eric Roberts movie.
But it's true.
No, I've been doing the research, and I think the numbers add up.
Yeah.
I feel like that's only your ratio, because every 10th movie you watch is a talking cat. So
you don't know my life, Matt. You don't know what I need to get through the day. I haven't seen that one yet. Oh, I gotta put it on my Eric Roberts list. Okay, wait a second.
Are you saying Eric Roberts played Garfield?
So
that would be fascinating.
I'm thinking of this right, aren't I, Adam?
Yes, you are.
So Eric Roberts at one point played a talking cat in the film. A talking cat.
Yeah.
Exclamation point, question mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exclamation point. Yeah.
And it's a touching family drama, almost lifetime style drama. But Eric Roberts plays the part of this cat who may or may not be talking. It may just be, Garfield style
In his head.
stream of thought.
Psychosis.
Voiceover. Yeah, exactly. I highly recommend it. I shouldn't say that, but yeah, it sounds like Eric Roberts recorded all his lines. I'm sure he, put all the work he needed to into it, but yeah, it
Made
sounds
that money.
like it was, recorded on his phone while he was doing something else.
And the best part is it's also, he's the voice of the cat, and that cat is like the least charismatic screen animal you've ever seen. Like the cat has no interest in being in the movie, so the combination is just, it's beautiful.
That's why they cast him.
Exactly.
Yes.
They found the Eric Roberts of cats.
It's this lifetime family drama with this just malaise-ridden cat who's basically, the audience in the film just going, oh, man, I'm doing this again.
Is that on our podcast list? I don't think that we've put it on the possible movies list. We already have had an Eric Roberts film, though.
We have.
Yeah.
Which one?
DOA.
Dead or
Alive.
How did I forget that
way
film?
More than we expected.
Yeah.
It was stunning.
Yeah. Just the right amount of like action and 90s fashion.
So yeah.
Wow.
Explosions everywhere.
We could talk about it for hours. Look at us.
In fact, we have. It's basically if Maxim made a kung fu movie, it's Dead or Alive.
It's so good,
It's basically what it is.
It's one of our best podcasts. I think it's like over an hour.
But here's the thing. I can bring it back around because that's the kind of thing that you wouldn't go to a Blockbuster to rent, but you'd see it and you'd bring it. It'd be like, you get your two like definite movies that you're going to like. And then the third one's always like, and try this one.
I'll take a flyer on that.
Yeah.
Gambling.
That was the Murphy way. That was the Murphy way when we'd go to Blockbuster would be get the two films we definitely came here to get. Maybe the one that just came out, the Blockbuster. Then we get like maybe the indie one. And then we get the one that's a long shot that would be, maybe we wouldn't touch this ever. Usually there's a Megan pick because she was like, no, this is the one we got to try out.
Yeah.
It may or may not scar us some way, shape, or form, mentally, physically, emotionally, but we're going to do it. We're going in all the way. So that's what we would do. We'd leave with three.
How else will you learn?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I accidentally ended up with Tetsuo the Iron Man one night.
Did that change you?
And now I host a genre film podcast.
That's how it happens, kids. Be careful.
Don't do weird Japanese horror, kids. So yeah, sorry, this has gotten kind of off track, but I hope you're having fun.
That is our way.
This is basically how it goes. Yeah, because then we just disappear down the rabbit hole, basically like you would at the Blockbuster. See, I'm tying it all back in. Yeah, so I think that's kind of the best thing that, besides the family line through it, is the kind of cult of Blockbuster that comes up in the film. You've got podcasters, comedians, actors. Ron Funches is maybe my favorite in the movie. I'm a Ron Funches guy anyway, but just his reminiscences and everybody just going, oh yeah, this is what I did on a Friday night. It was like, oh yeah, no, there's a generation of us who we'll all hark back on this and kind of miss it. I mean, I'm trying to think of the one Blockbuster we have in town was replaced by a Little Caesars. The other one's a pet store now. Like,
a Blaze Pizza.
A Blaze Pizza. So yeah, it's one of those things where you drive
Liquor
by
store.
and you just get wistful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the Hollywood Video, which is now the Hollywood Liquor.
Sorry, you're correct. My bad.
But please, some respect.
I apologize. That's right. They didn't take the whole sign down. They used part of the sign and then put
I was
liquor
going to say,
after it.
is it the same font and everything?
It is
Yeah.
the same font, same sign.
If you guys are ever in Rochester, that's a landmark to check out, is the Hollywood Video sign, where they've just taken video down and replaced it with liquor.
Liquor.
It's historically significant.
Rochester is full of historically significant things. The George Eastman House.
And the Hollywood Liquor.
Yeah. The Kodak Building.
Is there a Tesla museum near you guys?
I'm sorry?
A what?
Tesla museum, is that near you guys?
No, I don't think so.
We have the Museum of Play
Hmm.
with all the video games and the board games.
Oh, that's cool.
Video Game Hall of Fame. So you can go to the Video Game Hall of Fame, George Eastman House, and the Hollywood Liquors.
Yay!
Those are the big three.
The Rochester trifecta. If you've done that, you've done the city.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's yeah. There's more here than that, everybody. So please feel free to come to Rochester whenever this pandemic ends. I don't think the Chamber of Commerce is really going to knock on our door at this point.
Oh, we're never getting that Rochester money now, Matt. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
It's done. I'll tell you my favorite. Well, okay, it started out as the part I hated about video stores the most, but became favorite. When I was younger, I was terrified of the horror section. It was always like the most visual. Some places would actually build up stuff around it. Luckily, so I could like notice it from the front and go, I will not be going back there. Like just so many visual nightmares started just by scanning all the, the tapes and the DVDs. But also like it became like the thing I kept like, well, I'm just going to find a reason to go past it. Like I started getting really I'm just going to like test myself. I'm going to, and then, okay, maybe I'll just like take one home. I'll just take one home. I'm sure I won't watch it. And now I co-founded a genre film festival. So, you're getting our origin stories here.
Right.
I think everyone has that one like horror movie cover that you saw at too young an age and is just seared into your brain and has scarred you forever. And that's what you're missing when you don't have the video store. You don't accidentally see something you shouldn't there.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
What is it called? Killer Clowns, yeah. Mine was Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
That's classic nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Reanimator freaked me out. There wasn't a whole lot on there, but it was just enough of a hint of like, what is that glowing green? It's a needle. It's what's in that pan. All that stuff was like, and then I saw it and I fell in love. Oh, Dr. West. You scamp.
The one that always sticks out to me is Monkey Shines with the toy monkey with like the razor blade.
Ah.
Mine was Lair the White Worm. That was super creepy. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, you sensed the Ken Russell coming off it, right? Like you could tell some weird shit was in that tape.
It's true. I mean,
The entire Leprechaun series too.
I did see Tommy at a young age. That was a poor idea. Yeah, Leprechaun series will get you.
Like, no.
Why is he in space?
Sorry, Meg and I are going to have our own podcast about Leprechaun for just a minute.
Yes. He was also in The Hood. Twice, I think.
Twice.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. I don't remember if Ice-T made it for the sequel.
Oh. Well, now I got to have to look it up. I can't sleep tonight unless I know.
I can't sleep tonight at all. Now they have these images in my head, so thank you for this.
One of the things I think I appreciate most about the movie, to kind of bring it back on track.
Thank you, Adam.
I do what I can. Is the way, I mean, obviously there's that nostalgia for Blockbuster, but also you don't gloss over the fact that the corporation was not always the best. Like it killed off all the mom and pop video stores. And like, I appreciated that you didn't just completely like push that aside just for the sake of remember how great this was, which I mean, it can be both of those things at the same time. And I liked that a lot. And I appreciaed that. Was that something you were conscious of?
It wasn't with that. It wasn't for lack of trying. When I started formulating the story of what I expected we would come across and how we could make it into a movie with, suspense and pathos and people caring about the characters and stuff. We had a line in there, a thread about the people who hated Blockbuster, who were going to accuse it of killing off, all the bad things that it would have done. And we couldn't find anybody who wanted to talk about it. Everybody was just wanted to think about the positive parts.
Yeah. Except one person.
I was going to say, yeah.
Fortunately, Taylor was able to convince a certain producer to sit down for an interview. So we did get to have one person.
How did you do that? Jeez.
That
was, we reached out to his people and said we were making a movie about, I don't know if we said Blockbuster or if we just said video rentals. And I was in New York. He was available. We went to his weird house with a chroma gargoyle on the front. And
it seemed uncomfortable.
It was very uncomfortable. Put it in the movie. It is what it is, and you get what you get. You know.
It's not like he lied. I mean, he was telling the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was certainly his reality, and I think a lot of people's reality.
Yeah.
He just is really great at being exuberant about his opinion.
He's not shy.
Intense.
I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah, we've got another 2 hours of that interview somewhere that no one will ever see.
I saw it. It was great.
Could you just as a I don't know, like a bonus Jonas, like release that entirety? I would pay money.
He was one of the few people who crossed out the thing where he would in the release that said that they're responsible for anything they say. He crossed that part out before he'd sign it, so no one can see the rest of that interview.
Right.
We don't want to be liable.
Right. There's a little bit more of his interview on the DVD, and it's not even in the bonus features. I was a big fan of like DVDs as a medium when I was renting them at Blockbuster, and a lot of them would have a thing where you'd go through the menu, and if you hit like the arrow over from, it's like a secret thing, right?
The Easter eggs.
So there is more Lloyd Kaufman hidden on our DVD, but you got to work for it.
You gotta earn it. You gotta earn that Kaufman.
Up, up, down, down, A, B, A, B. Select start. Yes.
That's a gold star for going and getting that interview, because it is.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably visceral. Like you can feel it.
I might have watched it like this. Like
I live through it and I can't watch it. It's
well, normally when you get him, you get, kind of upbeat huckster Lloyd, like he's trying to sell you something. And I
turned into that.
Yeah.
Right after he was done berating me for not knowing who he was, he like turns it on. He's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna tell you who I am. Hi, I'm Lloyd Kaufman." I'm like, okay,
professional.
Right on. You know your brand.
Yeah. It's a wild,
super nice guy, actually.
He seems like I'd love to meet him. I'm not going to ask him about Blockbuster.
No, don't do that. But just having pizza with him would probably be awesome.
Oh no, the palpitations I got.
We weren't able to do it because of the timing, but he actually invited us to go see the filming of the very last Toxic Avenger.
Oh wow.
Taylor, was it Toxic Avenger?
I don't remember what they were filming.
It was one of their films that they've made a bunch of. He said that when the interview was over, he was like, "Hey, if you guys want to come to the set, hang out, you're welcome to." Like, he's super nice. Super.
Seems awesome.
You can be yes and.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised that, I would go just to see if he'd enlist me to like have something pop out of my chest or have my head explode or something. I feel like that's a thing. Like if you're on the set, you're gonna have some kind of
chance of that happening.
Yeah.
That's the dream, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question. So as you started filming, did you get the sense of a countdown as this blockbuster became the last one? Like, was it in the back of your mind? Did it have what was the timeline in your head, and did that kind of mesh with as they started, like the dominoes started falling?
Well, when we first started, I 100% thought the Alaska stores would be the last ones because of logic and because they don't have good internet. And, everybody was like, oh, there's Blockbusters still left in Alaska because Netflix doesn't work or whatever. And nobody really thought Bend would be the last store. So we were kind of, filming it as if the first year and a half or so of filming was like, oh, it's going to be about one of the last Blockbusters. It won't be called that. It won't be, maybe we'll get to go up to Alaska and film there. And by the time that would have been possible, we did a Kickstarter to raise some money to maybe go to Alaska. That was when that store closed. And we were like well on our way making this other movie when this one became the last one. And then it became about, what does it mean to be the last one of this thing that everybody knew? What would it be like if there was only one Starbucks and it was here in this town? And so the story to me shifted that day. I remember, I think Sandy either called or texted me to be like, hey, we're going to be the last store. You should get down here.
Wow.
A roller coaster, because they were the last one in America first and then the last one in the world. And so they had 2 rounds of that crazy hype of like, she's on Good Morning America. She's on, you know, Ellen. She's on all these things of people couldn't believe, you know, that there were any left. So when the news broke that there was one left, it was big news.
Yeah, it's like finding out like this is the last elephant left.
Right.
And you're like, what? There's still elephants? There's one left. Let's go see it. And so everyone goes to see it. We were actually about to buy tickets to fly to Alaska. Like we were making arrangements to fly to Alaska to film at those stores when we were basically told, I don't think you should bother. We were interviewing the guy who owned the Alaska stores here in town. He had come to visit.
Yeah.
And, we were like, yeah, we're going to go up. And he was like, yeah, couldn't do that.
Oh man.
And then
Good looking out.
the same thing with the Australian store.
Yeah, we were talking to them.
It was New Zealand, right?
No, it's Australia.
Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, well, let's get down there. There's still 3 down there. Oh,
Nope. Oh man, save yourself some travel. Yikes.
Yeah.
Wow.
For business reasons, I'm sorry that happened, but I mean, it definitely made your poster better. I'd feel bad if it was like a parenthetical, one of the end parenthetical Last Blockbusters.
It's a snappier title. Yeah.
The last in the Continental. No, is that Continental?
Right.
That's
The last
yeah.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, it turns into Carmen Sandiego, you know, the last blockbuster in the continental U.S. Sorry, that's a deep cut.
Wow.
It's a stunning cut. Mwah.
just put a big asterisk next to it.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Movies do better with asterisks on the title, right?
Yeah.
Huge.
Turn around to the back to find out what that asterisk is. Ah,
Ooh.
that was digital.
Who doesn't love a video cover with footnotes?
We still get private messages and tweets and stuff where angry people are telling us that there's still a Blockbuster that's going in their store, in their town.
Yeah.
They're like, I just drove by our Blockbuster in Austin. You guys are lying. It's not the last Blockbuster. Nobody? Were you driving past it on your way back from a dispensary?
Which, like, good looking out, bud, but like, I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, what they didn't notice was that it was Blockbuster Liquors, and it's just been closed.
That's right.
I do kind of like the idea that Blockbuster is now like the Bigfoot of our era. Like it's spotted in weird places, and you never know if it's real or not.
I like when people correct us. People are very quick to be like, "No, the last one's in Alaska. I saw it on the news. You're wrong." I'm like, okay.
I know you just did a whole film about it, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I remember something I read a week ago. So
Yeah, no.
Yeah, maybe
People are the worst.
maybe in the 3 years we worked on this, we would have noticed.
Right.
Maybe
Maybe in year 4 we'll figure it out.
start carrying DVDs in your pocket. No, I promise. Here, watch this.
Right.
I'll get back to me in about 2 hours.
Yeah. Watch this. I'll wait.
Before even watching it, they're like, I'm pretty sure I'm 100% more knowledgeable about this topic than you. And you just spent like, how many years is it over?
It's about 3.
3?
3 and
Okay.
a half. Yeah.
So I know
Early
you
20.
spent 3 years of your life like doing this topic, but I know more about it than you.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the internet.
Yeah. Another fun thing is we've gotten so far like ratings, like on Facebook, we're a business or whatever. So they're like leaving reviews, and we've gotten a couple of reviews from people who are like, I went in there and they were all out of Armageddon. And so I just left. Like
1 star.
1 star for the movie. I'm like, well, okay, we're not that. And also, why are you giving Blockbuster Video a bad review for not having a movie? That's how it works.
Yeah.
Like it isn't Netflix. They don't have unlimited copies of everything.
it's part of
kind
the
of a-
experience. Is
Right.
like you don't know, and then there's that worry, like, oh my god, maybe someone will return it. Oh, it's great and horrible at the same time.
Yeah.
My
I
favorite-
would go. Yeah.
my favorite comment that we've gotten way more than one time, probably like 20 times, is "Fuck Blockbuster. I owe them like $200 for late fees."
Yeah, and they're never gonna get them.
Why are you mad at them? You
Yeah.
stole $200.
You won.
Yeah,
Wait.
Congrats.
Yeah, man. If you still owe Blockbuster $200, you won that tug of war. You never.
Don't be mad.
It's not even in their system.
yeah.
You've had a lot of people ask that. You
Yeah.
can come to this store and rent a movie, and they don't know about your late fees from Sheboygan.
Yeah.
You're a
Could
blank
you
slate
imagine?
at the last Blockbuster. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
I would
Yeah,
love to
you're
walk
the
in
one
there.
who kept Sleepless in Seattle for 4 years.
Right.
That's on you.
You owe us $27,000 for Demolition Man from 1998.
Right.
Don't take it out on us. Don't give our movie a bad rating because of that.
Right.
Well, Blockbuster, there's a lot of emotions attached. I think that like just travels through.
True.
Like you spend enough time, and that was a big part of like growing up your life. Even today, you're like, late fees. No, wait, it's cool.
Yeah.
But that's interesting because that's really like that. That's been on their mind for years. That has been on their mind for years.
Yeah.
Haunting them.
They spent thousands of dollars on therapy to deal with it.
Yeah. The Blockbuster cops are coming. They're gonna knock on my door.
At any point, did you consider adding an addendum to the movie when the Last Blockbuster turned to Airbnb? When it started, like you could rent it out and stay there, and I thought that was such a fascinating story. I was wondering if you were filming long enough to like mention that.
No, that was way after we heard about that just a few months ago, and the movie's been kind of done.
Yeah,
The best we could do is the little addendum about them being open during COVID. That's at the end, and that was like the movie was done, but we figured you can't put out a movie in 2020 without acknowledging what's going on, especially a documentary. But the Airbnb thing, I mean, it's crazy how much hype that got, but also bad timing. I don't know how long they were planning it, but like, it's like a travel thing. And then they made it so only people in Bend could do it. And it was, I don't know. I don't think they got what they wanted out of it. We both tried.
Yeah, we both tried to get the nights. There were only like 3 nights available. We're like, let's get it. We'll each get a night, and we'll watch our movie in there.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Innovating.
Yeah, we didn't get it though. It sold out in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. But I know Sandy. I think we could probably get in there and spend the night whenever we want.
You got connection.
Like literally that I was gonna say there's a thing that you should do called like using your resources and like use your hookup.
Yeah. We just wanted the story to be filmmakers of this film. Here's a link to buy it.
Yeah.
It's the Airbnb.
Just for the hype.
Put that on your social media, people will blow your mind.
We'll
Whoa.
get dozens of likes.
We were definitely ready to be
It
done.
said dozens.
Dozens. We were ready to be done with the movie by the time that came out. The whole Airbnb thing. We thought this was going to be like 1 year, and then in the but just everything kept changing. It was nuts.
That's how late fees happen.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you have it longer than damn it, Blockbuster. I think you're done.
You pulled me right back in.
I was just going to ask Taylor, was that your monkey's paw wish? You finally got to work in a Blockbuster for 3 years, and now here you are.
Now I'm stuck there forever.
Yep.
Forever.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Taylor.
No, it's great. Great. It's everything I always wanted.
Invite people on the show and then just crush them. No,
And then like get them really in the heart and just right there.
But I do find myself, I'm in there a lot, just working with Sandy, and now we're getting the DVDs in there ready for people to rent. And so I'm in there and I'll find myself just like straightening up the signage and putting the movies back on the shelf, just like out of habit, out of like, I want this store to be a nice store. I want everyone to have a good time when they come here. it is like a second home now. I feel like I've spent so much time in that store over the past 3.5 years that it's like, you know, the only sad part about it is it's lost that magic feeling when you walk in the door. It just feels like home to me now. Like it's not, oh my God, it's Blockbuster. It's like, yeah, it's you know, my office. Blockbuster.
It's time to go hang out at Aunt Sandy's house. Yeah.
You get a little bit of that feeling back again every time someone walks in and experiences it.
Yeah.
When I was doing the podcast from the store, every time, a ton of people would come in and be like,
Inhaling, right? Smelling. They would. They're like,
oh yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love that so much.
You hear people in there is always somebody first time when you're there, and they'll say like, "Oh my God, the smell! Oh my God, I can't believe! Look, it's all the Harry Potter movies, all of them in the same place." Yep.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
But my favorite is parents explaining it to kids. Like parents bring their kids in there, and they're like, "No, that box is the movie. That the movie is that thing."
Yeah.
Blowing little kids' minds. Oh, fantastic.
so when it's safe, we're road tripping, right?
Yes.
And I don't even need flying. I'm ready to drive. Cross country.
Totally worth it. We ran into people that flew from like Brazil and China, and like people who drove from San Diego straight through. That's a rough drive.
That's yeah.
And what's that, like 15, 16 hours, 18 hours, something? And no one was disappointed that they made it. Nobody.
What is it, like 3,000? What's a couple thousand miles?
Aaron, you crunch the numbers, you get back to us.
It's probably about 3,000 for you guys.
Yeah. We know people in Eugene. That's not, how far is that? I don't know.
A couple hours.
See? We'll visit some people.
Yeah. And, you know, our town also has an old record shop.
Mm-hmm.
And
we used to have two, but then COVID.
Yeah. The vintage arcade. So if you make it out, you can like relive your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Aaron's getting ideas, I can see.
Yeah.
I think I say.
Yeah.
Making the itinerary.
Yeah, she's doing, oh yeah, she's already planned. Like she's got a database open right now. I can see. Yep.
I feel like we need the Ben to Rochester Culture Exchange Program.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
We'll show you the cool record stores and the, you know, the place where Kodak used to be.
Where my office was previously.
Yeah.
And we can come check out the record store and the Blockbuster. I think that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Make sure when you come, if you book an Airbnb, make sure it has a DVD player. Because I ran into a couple people at the store who were renting movies and then had to go to Best Buy and buy a DVD player so they could watch them and then return them.
Fortunately, they're only $7.
Oh,
Right.
Do not fret. If the Airbnb doesn't, I got one you can borrow.
Oh, throw it in your bag when we come out.
I like the idea of a one-use DVD player. It's $7. Buy it, dude, and leave it. It's fine.
Just pay it forward to the next person who's coming.
There you go.
Blockbuster should just start selling DVD players.
I was just going to say, that's actually Sandy's next cottage industry, is selling the DVD players with the DVDs.
Put them in a bin by the door.
Yeah.
Only if she can knit them.
Yeah.
Oh, they can do a little player cozy so you can keep reading.
Yes.
VCR cozy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Come on.
That'd be amazing.
Come on.
I would love a little.
They do have VHS now. So many people were donating VHS tapes that they finally just put them out for sale at $2 a pop. And they have the weirdest collection of VHS tapes.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm at the DVD. I'm at the VCR. I'm at the combination DVD and VCR player.
Nice.
Nobody, it's a TikTok thing. It's fine. Whatever. Some people will get it.
Okay, you're younger than the rest of us.
Well,
I get it.
Yeah.
By very little.
I
I just
get
happen to be in the zeitgeist.
You're
I'm
talking
guessing
about,
I'm twice your age.
Huh?
I'm probably twice your age.
I'm 33.
Close.
Thank you for thinking I'm that young. Thank you so much. It's the cheekbones.
I do appreciate this will probably be the only press you do where TikTok is brought up on the video store movie.
I hope so.
We keep it relevant.
That's
Here,
right.
here
Yeah.
at Anomaly. We're on the cutting edge.
Cutting edge.
We had a meeting the other day about marketing for the movie, and somebody brought up TikTok, and we were all just like, what? How would we? First of all, if you can use TikTok to market this movie, the people who use TikTok won't understand the movie. Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to know about VHS and DVD. They're not going to know about going to Blockbuster. The Venn diagram of TikTok users and Blockbuster video fans is 2 circles.
There we go.
I would like to just challenge that a little bit as an over 30 on TikTok. Not that we came on here to defend TikTok, but the millennials and the Gen Xers that are actually on TikTok are actually a large population because the Gen Zers came for us hard and we're trying to kick us off of it. But like the pandemic, like that's why I joined in March, because I was like, I'm bored. This seems fun. There's a large population that is now a Venn diagram. I can guarantee you, like, there's people on there talking about, like, you don't know about a rotary phone, you don't know about Blockbuster. Like, legitimately, there are TikToks about Blockbuster on there.
So you're ready to do this, Aaron.
If they want me to run their TikTok about Last Blockbuster, I will do it, and it will blow up.
Yes,
all right, you're hired. You're hired.
Blow it up is a good thing, right?
We will email you afterwards.
But yes, I am 33. I'm an elder millennial. I would just want to point that out. And yes, I am on TikTok.
Yeah. And you just inherited the official Last Blockbuster movie TikTok account.
Yeah.
See, Blockbuster gets everybody. Now you're caught too.
Now you work at Blockbuster.
That's how it happened. You look down, you have a name tag.
Yep.
How did I get here?
We do have name tags. Where is my name tag?
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. I've got mine in the other room.
Yeah.
Name tag.
We had them made. I think it was one of our Kickstarter rewards was name tags. And so
That's awesome.
That's a great idea.
That is
I love it.
phenomenal.
Oh, there we go.
Focus.
Yeah, put your hand behind it. There you go. Yeah.
That rules.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. We're all jealous now.
Taylor's like, I gotta go get mine too.
Oh man, is it one of those fancy magnetic ones too?
It is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that makes it official. Yep. You can't argue with that.
Yep.
You can't. There you go. Yeah.
Excellent.
Matt, what happened to your card?
My gold card?
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say I Marie Kondoed it a couple years ago.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it brought me joy, but I was trying to declutter a box of stuff, but I did take a picture of it, so it is floating out there on the interweb.
I have seen said photo. Thank you.
Yeah,
I have proof that it existed at one point.
Taylor, you and I were definitely cut from the same cloth. Of living at the Blockbuster, to the point that they were like, we should give you one of these, because if not, I mean, I don't know, we'd have to hire you.
Did you ever get the when they did the mail thing like Netflix, but you could take theirs into the store and exchange them for a movie?
Yeah,
I had that going at the same time as the monthly pass, so I could do like multiple. It was bad.
You were working the system.
I was.
Yeah.
Do a separate podcast about Blockbuster scams.
Yeah. The honest truth, I worked at a record store to pay for my Blockbuster habit. It was
It's amazing.
just like, earlier when Zeke was like, yeah, Taylor just finished up his ska movie, I was like, oh my God. Are you a ska guy and a Blockbuster guy?
Have you not seen his ska movie?
I haven't yet.
Oh my God, you have to see it.
Check it out.
What's
It's
the title
out.
of it?
Pick it up.
Oh, awesome. I am all over that.
It's on the Amazons and Vimeos.
I will definitely be checking that out.
I went to the screening with my wife and son, and we all left. Our cheeks were just hurting. It's such a happy movie. It's definitely, I give it a full 5-star pandemic must see rating.
Wow.
Excellent.
There was a ska band at my prom. It was this particular time of where like ska came back just for a couple years in like the time, like it was
Wow.
it was special.
It was an arts high school. I just want to point that out. It's an arts high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We were cool.
Yeah.
I played in a bunch of ska bands, and I played a handful of proms.
Yeah.
We played a lot of weird gigs.
Yeah, it worked in a magnificent way that was only going to happen for a particular time in the 90s. And
yeah,
it
it's not good prom music. It's not.
No, it wasn't. It was political, but also, Arts High School. So it kind of was our prom music. Damn the man! Where's the punch bowl?
Late 90s, exactly. It was
You're reading zines.
The Boss Tones playing at the prom for Cher Horowitz.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good God. I don't have any brain left after that.
That was good. That was a good pull.
And the vampire that is Paul Rudd isn't aging. Not a day in his life.
Yeah, he looks older in Clueless than he does in Ant-Man 2.
Yeah.
I said that. I said those exact words.
Oh no, now he's coming for us. He doesn't want people to know the truth.
So, he's kind of frightened at us. Yeah, so one last question, then I'll let you get back to your lives. This is probably the it's good press is just starting with this because I don't know that, other people will probably be more professional. But
I hope not.
We're charming, Matt. We're charming.
We're charming AF, man.
we're nothing if not fun.
This is way more fun than when we did that 60 Minutes interview and we had to storm out.
Oh, that Leslie Stahl, she's something else.
Oh.
Those hard-hitting questions.
Why is she blaming us for the pandemic?
It was unfair when she asked you about being responsible for all of the Blockbuster late fees from the late 90s. That's
To be fair, we are responsible for those.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them.
We just had the politeness not to ask. We had some tact. So one thing I wanted to ask before we kind of pull this into the station here. So with the pandemic and everything, the town of Bend, has everybody kind of banded around Blockbuster being that it's the last now? And was it a thing that they were supporting before? Or like now it's kind of something that's got, some hometown pride now, or?
Yeah, people are proud.
Yeah, I don't think that it's that much different than when it wasn't the last one. Like,
people
loved it and they went there, and I don't know how many people locally are there more often now than before. It seems to be about the same.
No, I think what it is people like when their friends come to visit, because it's a big like vacation town, people want to show it off. So you'll see locals like bringing someone from out of town to Blockbuster to be like, this is our thing that we have. See?
Nice.
Yeah. Like you with the Hollywood liquor.
Yeah. Exactly.
We got to start that. We got to start that, Matt.
We should.
I've been doing that. I don't know what you guys have been doing.
Going to get supplies isn't the same thing as bringing.
Right.
But I can do both.
Wegmans is so played out. The new thing is Hollywood Liquors. Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're in town, we have to take you to all Wegmans.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. You can pretend you're in the office and buy the same cereal that they have. So anyway,
I forgot the office had Wegmans stuff in it.
Yeah, Northeast is a wonderful place.
I was born there.
Were you really? Where were you born?
I was born in Dover, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I've spent time in Dover. I used to live in Trenton.
Oh.
Wow.
Fun facts. Yay, Jersey.
Yay, Jersey.
Good podcasting.
Jersey shout out. Nice.
Yeah.
I spent a year and left.
I guess the shout out's gone.
Shout out to
Got New Jersey. We lost New Jersey.
Right. There they go. There they go.
Bye.
So, Zeke, Taylor, thanks for joining us for this roller coaster of an hour.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time. Any last thoughts about, Last Blockbuster, or anything you want us to keep an eye out for coming up? Or
I think everyone should buy the DVD.
I agree. And if you don't want to buy the DVD because you don't have a DVD player, you should buy it on iTunes or Amazon when it comes out on December 15th worldwide. Yeah. Yay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are
We
doing this
all
right?
too.
yes.
Yes.
The DVD
Help
is
spread the word.
interestingly enough, fun factoid, the DVD is the first Blockbuster exclusive DVD since 2011. And it is only available at Blockbuster Video. But fortunately, they have a website that you can order it from, which is bendblockbuster.com.
That's awesome.
That is fantastic.
So everybody go right now.
Fun extras on it too. So
Oh, secret stuff that we just know. There's secret stuff on there. Go get it.
Yeah.
I need to get it just for the Lloyd Kaufman.
Just for letting more.
Literally.
Write it down. I love
Yeah.
it. You guys are fun.
yeah,
We like to think so.
That's a good way to put it. Thank you. Fun is
We
acceptable.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's kind.
It's kind.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us. When the pandemic is over, I hope you're able to, travel out this way. We'd love to take you again for the sights. I'm only half kidding about the Hollywood Lickers. Everything else here is really cool. But we appreciate your time. We're very excited about the Last Blockbuster. And again, thank you so much for joining us. Zeke Kamm, Taylor Morden, it's appreciated. We love the Last Blockbuster. We love you. Thank you very much for joining us.
thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.